Team FYN Sports and Johnny's New York Style Pizza in Jasper proudly presents the Pickens Power Half Hour. It's Dragon Talk for the next 30 minutes right here on FYNTV.com. Hello and welcome. It has been a couple of weeks since we last met with the gang, and I've got a good group here tonight that we're going to introduce. We've got Cameron Parker down on the end here in the first segment. He is a senior corner, and we also have Peyton Johnson, a senior kicker as well. Also joining us is Grant Myers, defensive coordinator, linebacker coach here at Pickens High as well. And as always, my guest each and every time we do this show, Coach Jeff Nelson, head coach here, and appreciate you guys being with us here inside the Jim Lock Fieldhouse. The time changed. No more sunshine. It's all dark now as we continue through the rest of the season. And Coach, we were just joking around. I jinxed it. A few weeks ago, the last time we sat here, I talked about how we'd been able to get through, all this football. Lo and behold, you guys get shut down for a couple of weeks, as a lot of teams around North Georgia have. But you guys were able to play on Saturday night. That's why we're here, and it was a big win for the Dragons.
Yes, it was. And by the way, I do blame that on you.
Squarely on me. Yep.
We did have a big win. I'm just real pleased with how the kids came out. They've been very resilient. This is not our first rodeo with this, and the coaching staff has been extremely positive all year. But the kids have bought in as well, and we just, each time we've had an issue like this, we just, our idea was we just focus on us, and we practiced virtually on the computer every day. Is all we could do, and the kids showed up and. We're very focused, so I was just very pleased with the effort with just the short amount of actual field time that we got prior to that game.
Right, absolutely. Of course, a big win for Pickens on Saturday. It was a Saturday night special here at Dragon Stadium as Pickens defeats Ridgeland. Always nice to beat the Panthers because traditionally a very tough team. 27-18 the final score there. We'll go over that, of course, here in just a moment. Obviously the big story, and we talked about this. We won't spend really any time on it, but at this point, we're starting to see the log jam around the state, around North Georgia. A lot of the games that have been canceled. So I know, Coach, from that standpoint, we don't know when games will be made up or not. All we know is it's just 1 week at a time. You guys have another game this Friday night against Heritage. We'll talk about that in the second segment. But you got to be proud of the way through all this. And, of course, playing on a Saturday night. I know it's not conventional football, the things that you guys have had to go through as a program. But you got to be proud of the way the kids responded.
Oh, absolutely. Practice all week. I thought they did well. I even myself had to come in late due to issues like that. The kids just soldiered on. I thought the coaching staff, we had a plan, and we had been working on it prior to being sent home, and we just kept up with that. I thought with the short amount of time that we had to practice and get back in game shape from just a standpoint of hitting and all that, I thought the kids really responded, so I couldn't have been prouder.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about that game, break down a few plays for you here in just a few moments. We appreciate you guys being with us right here. Again, you can find this segment on Team FYN Sports, FYNTV.com, live and on demand under the Team FYN Sports tab. Also want to remind folks to make sure that you follow us on Twitter at Team FYN Sports for North Georgia highlights and scores on Friday nights and Saturdays if we need to, certainly, as we update all the scores there. And hit the like on our Facebook page as well at Team FYN Sports. Appreciate you guys being with us. Coach Myers, thanks for being with us on the show here. You been in the weight room lately, man? I mean,
it's just a shirt right here.
It's just got a little padding in there. No, man, we know better than that. Thanks for being with us. Talk a little bit. Let's go back to Saturday and talk about Ridgeland specifically. I mean, defensively, you guys showed up in a big way, and it kind of seems like it's been the theme all year long. I mean, you guys have gotten excellent individual and team efforts from all three levels of the defense. Talk about how your guys came together on Saturday.
Well, I think it's just a testament to the kids. Coach Nelson touched on it earlier as far as just resiliency. This group of seniors and also the kids that are playing out there for us have just been resilient the entire year as far as whatever's been thrown at them. They haven't flinched. They haven't wilted. They've adjusted to the obstacles that have been in their way, and it showed on Saturday night. I told the guys yesterday when we were watching film, that was a more talented football team than we were. They were a more talented team than us, but we beat them because our guys did what they were coached to do, and that's a testament to who they are and the character of those young men, and that's why they're really a joy to coach every year.
Absolutely. We've got a couple seniors here in this first segment, but I want to talk a little bit because one of the things that we talk a lot about, every week on the show with Coach Nelson is the youth. I mean, you guys do have some upperclassmen, but you got a lot of young guys that are having to play as well on both sides of the ball, and I think that's even more of a testament to what you're saying as far as being able to play the way you have with some younger guys. How have you been able to bring this unit together defensively with the mix of the veterans you have, but also the younger guys that are having to play too?
Well, I think, again, it ties into the character of a lot of the seniors we have right there, showing younger players how to conduct themselves, what it looks like to be a Friday night football player. That, it doesn't just go into running through the banner and rah-rah on Friday night. How you carry yourself during your individual drills at practice, how you carry yourself during team drills, because you don't win games on Friday night.
Right.
You win games Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, all the way through the week in practice.
Yep.
And I think that's what our veteran guys have showed some of our underclassmen, and that's why they've been able to be successful.
There we go. Speaking of veterans, we got a few veterans not only on the team but also on the show. A couple of guys you're going to meet in the next segment have been on here before, and one of the guys as well here in this first segment. That's Cameron Parker down there at the end of the table. Not your first rodeo here on Dragon Talk as we welcome you back. And Cameron, talk a little bit. Got Coach Myers here, defense coordinator, talking about the defense. Let's start with that. On Saturday against Ridgeland, you guys come up with a big win. It's a big region win as well. Always nice to beat them because Ridgeland's a team that always has a lot of good athletes. I mean, what did you guys do specifically? What was the game plan going into that?
I don't really know. I think we just came together as a team and just found our rhythm when we were going through it, and then we just went from there.
There you go. We always talk about having communication in the back end of the defense, especially DBs. Man, you guys got to talk, see what's going on. I mean, you've got a team like Ridgeland that like Coach said, may have some better athletes, or what have you, but you guys came together to get that win because you played better together. How do you approach that? I mean, if you're lined up against a guy that you feel like, maybe a little bit quicker than you or maybe a little bit bigger than you or whatever, I mean, what do you do to adjust to that? Is there anything that you work on to kind of get ready for that kind of matchup?
Not really. You just kind of had to look past the fact that he might be faster or bigger and just psych yourself out that you might be bigger and faster.
Yeah, so confidence, I guess, is what I'm hearing, right? You got to have confidence, right? Play back. Is that why a lot of those DBs are kind of cocky? They talk smack. It's just that they got to play with that confidence, right?
I think
they got to tell themselves, they're a little bit better. Yeah, I like that. But you don't seem like that, though. You're not cocky, though, right?
For the most part, not really.
For the most part, okay. You got to have a little of that. I appreciate that for sure. Peyton Johnson also joining us well here in the first segment. He's a senior place kicker. Talk a little bit. That's one thing we haven't talked about. A lot of people, and I know you'll appreciate this. We talk about offense, defense a lot. Don't always talk about that third phase, and that's the kicking game, the special teams. What have you guys been working on this year? You've got a good little group of kickers. Talk about some of the things y'all been working on.
Our normal kickers are very, very talented, but he had other plans, and so I had to be able to step up and take his place in order for us to come away with the win Friday night. And with the couple days of practice I did have, I feel like we managed to pull off our game plan very well.
There you go. Well, one of the things we're going to talk about in a minute, we're going to come back to Coach, talk about some of the plays, but I noticed that like late in the ball game, you guys had an onside kick, executed. It was kind of a shock. Everybody's like, it came at the right time. You guys were able to recover that and ended up scoring off that. I guess one of those things that when your number's called, you got to be ready, right? And special teams, we know maybe one out of every 5 plays, I guess, every 4th, 5th play, something like that, special teams play on average. So it's one of those things when you got to be ready, and it looked like you're ready. So that's awesome. And is there anything in particular that you're practicing, that you're working on individually for you to make your game better?
No, mainly just working on technique and just learning different styles of kicking.
Absolutely.
So.
And a big region win on Saturday, man. It had to be exciting. How'd it feel for you guys? I mean, I want to ask y'all this. I mean, how'd it feel? I know been out for a couple weeks, having to practice over the computer, like Coach said. What was that like, and how did it feel to actually get back out there on Saturday? I mean, how exciting was that for you guys to be able to actually get back in uniform and play a game?
I think it was awesome, especially playing on a Saturday. It's different.
Yeah. Had to feel big time, right? It's like college, man. It's like prime time, you know? That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Coach, let's come back to you here a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about the game. We'll break down some plays. We'll jump around as well and get the guys' thoughts. Pickens on the board first. Jared Whitmore, 5-yard touchdown run, 7-0. 7-6 at the half. it was a dogfight. 1 point ball game, nip and tuck. Defense doing a great job. First half, 7-6. What'd you tell your guys at halftime in a 1 point game?
Well, the same thing we tell them every week. At halftime, we come out when we go back out for the second half. The score's 0-0, regardless of what went on. We play as if we're starting over, and we don't worry about what's happened, good or bad, in the first half. We're concentrating on the next 2 quarters, and we hadn't accomplished anything until the fourth quarter's over. So
Right.
that's the big thing we talked about, and there's always some adjustments. We felt like the defense was doing what we had worked on all week, and we continued on with that. With a whole lot we felt like to adjust. Offensively, we tweaked a few things that we saw, and that's each week the coordinators are real good about finding little things we can work on and adjust if they're hurting us in a certain defense or a certain stunt or what have you. And we can adjust it, change the stunt or change the front or whatever it might be.
Right.
So I thought the coaches did an outstanding job of tweaking what we needed to tweak and just get them right back out and playing hard again.
Absolutely. Second half, Panthers with 12 unanswered. Regional would take a lead, but junior Colin Kellogg came in at quarterback a little bit early in the ball game, found Whitmore in a 28-yard receiving touchdown. Jared again on the night getting a little bit done there, and of course the Dragons back up 14-12 at that point. Pickens would fall back down 18-14. A couple missed extra points and 2-point plays in there by Ridgeland throughout the night. So going to the fourth quarter, and you guys were trailing, but then a couple of big plays, a big fourth down play, reception by Michael Hand in the back corner of the end zone there, and then the onside kick. And I want you to talk about kind of this series of plays and kind of go through it. And the kick would be recovered by the Dragons, and then Caden Hampton would basically put the game out of reach with a touchdown run there. But a very interesting series going into the fourth quarter, trailing a few points there, but kind of like Coach Myers said, I mean, just the composure, the resiliency of this group to not panic and be able to put together a good sequence in that final quarter.
Yeah, well, the game plan, regardless of which kicker that we had in, was to try to steal possession with the onside kick if the opportunity arose. Peyton stepped up and had just a short period of time to work on that. But we had told him that if the opportunity arose, that this is what we were going to do, and we'd been planning on it for a couple of weeks, and so nothing changed. The game plan was still there, and we needed that extra possession, and we felt like if we got it, we could kind of open things up a little bit. And Peyton stepped up. I think, as you mentioned, Colin stepped up, and our mentality. And I think every team, I'm sure, has that mentality this year. But because of the COVID issues, our mentality with our kids, and they've stepped up and produced is next man up. You don't know who's going to be out. You don't know, what circumstance you're going to be in, and you may have to step up and do things you haven't done in the past. And
Sure.
in Peyton's case, that was what he had to do.
Right.
And I thought he did an outstanding job of stepping up and giving us that extra possession I felt like we needed.
Absolutely. Dragons, of course, closed out 27-18, the win over Ridgeland. We'll talk a little bit more about this on the other side of the break, and we're up against our first break, but we do want to thank our players here in the first segment. Great job as always, guys. Again, Cameron Parker, senior corner, and, of course, Peyton Johnson, senior kicker for the Dragons. Good luck this week against Heritage. We'll be rooting for you guys. All right. Coach Myers is going to join us on the other side of the break as well, along with Coach Nelson. You are watching the Pickens Power Half-Hour Dragon Talk right here on FYNTV.com live and also on demand under the Team FYN Sports tab. A couple of minutes, and then we'll be back with more of the show as we break down this week's matchup against Heritage and much more. Stay with us.
At Ingalls, we know that school is a little different this year, with virtual learning and working from home. But we have continued to donate to our Tools for Schools program, just like always. And all our participating schools will have those funds waiting for them when the bell rings this fall.
Okay, who can tell me the difference between molarity and molality?
In the meantime, Ingalls has everything you need to make this school year a little easier. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Circuit World has complete queen bedroom packages at amazing prices. Get this queen bed, dresser and mirror, one nightstand, bedding set, and free 32-inch TV, all for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this complete queen bedroom set and sleep in style, also for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. What an incredible deal! Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Hi everyone, Dave Garner here. You might know me as a regular contributor to Team FYN Sports and the Instant Replay, but did you know I'm also your local Woodman Life representative? My job is to make sure that families are protected through needs-based life insurance and retirement. I want to make sure that you leave your loved ones with memories, not expenses. Call me today to find out how I can help you to not outlive your money and that your money outlives you. Woodman Life, standing strong for generations.
Sometimes it's the little victories that mean the most. Those everyday celebrations that bring a smile to our faces and joy to our hearts. At Ingalls, we know there's no one you'd rather share those miniature memorable moments with than family. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
And welcome back to this week's edition of the Pickens Power Half Hour Dragon Talk right here on FYNTV.com. We appreciate you guys being with us. Want to thank all of our sponsors, and of course want to thank Johnny's New York Style Pizza in Jasper for being the sponsor of the program as well. Here with head coach Jeff Nelson, Grant Myers, defensive coordinator, linebacker coach, and our 2 players for this second and final segment. We've got Mr. Chase Nelson down there on the end of the table there, a senior linebacker, and also Andrew Burrell, the senior safety and running back as well. 2 very familiar names and faces that have been on the program. Now, you guys have been on here before this year, but even last year, I mean, y'all been on for 2-3 years, I guess, right?
Yes.
How long have we, I guess, this is the 3rd year, I guess, we've done this, or have we just done it for a couple of years? But you guys have been on here a lot, so y'all are pros now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Y'all got this down pat? Yeah, exactly. I like it. So, anyway, Dragons, again, big winner on Friday night, as we talked about in the first segment, over Ridgeland. We're going to get to our players here in just a moment. Now Pickens, of course, turning the page to this week's ball game against Heritage. And Coach Nelson, I want to talk a little bit about this game. Heritage comes in 4-4, 1-2. They've kind of been a Jekyll and Hyde kind of team this year. I mean, they lose to Ridgeland by a touchdown, but then They come back and they beat Central Carroll 28-27, who's a good team, got one of the leading rushers in the state, and they almost up into 6-2 Northwest Whitfield team that a lot of folks are talking about. So I guess the question is, which Heritage team are we going to see on Friday night? I'm guessing your answer is either way. We got to be ready.
That's right. They're a well-coached football team, and they're a lot like what we are, similar type players. They have a real good quarterback, and each year in, year out, since I've been up here, we've played them, and they're always well prepared and well coached. So we'll have our hands full.
It's been a great series over the years with Heritage, with Pickens, of course, and that ball game again playing out, scheduled for Friday night. And again, we certainly looking forward to that one. They're another big region ball game, and I kind of want to go back to Ridgeland for just a second too, because before the break we were talking about the onside kick and some of the plays late in that ball game that the Dragons were able to pull off. And I think it says a lot about the confidence that you have in the defense and Coach Myers to be able to kick an onside kick in a game, as tight as it was late in the ball game, because if you guys don't get that, then that certainly puts the defense in there. But you have confidence in this group to be able to step up and willing to roll the dice in situations like that.
Yeah, they've gotten better, each and every game, and when you can, rely on them to get a stop, you can take more chances. And I felt like, and we felt like watching film as a staff that we would need to kind of flip the possession a little bit, and we felt confident that the defense would be able to bail us out if we didn't get it. We felt like we had stopped them outside of a big play here and there. We felt like we could stop them if we didn't get the ball, but fortunately we caught them off guard a little bit.
Absolutely. Coach Myers, I want to talk a little bit more about the defensive unit, then we'll work our way down the table to the players a little bit. Specifically, your linebackers coach as well. With that group specifically, who stood out this year? I know we've talked about some guys throughout the season, but who are your leaders right there in that position group?
The two leaders of that position are Chase, who's here tonight, senior linebacker, and then Caden Hampton, sophomore. The two of those guys kind of make it go. And Chase got moved there from the rover position, which is like a hybrid safety linebacker that he played last year. We moved him there because we felt like he was a good tackler. Even though he's undersized, he's been extremely productive for us, plays extremely hard, and that's given us a chance in a lot of these games. The effort plays, that's helped us out. And the experience and the senior leadership there has helped Caden come along and turn into the player that he's become right there. Connor Browning, outside linebacker, has also done a really good job for us this year. And then Andrew coming down and playing some like linebacker, DB hybrid type position at the Rover has done a great job this year as well. So we've had four guys that are really, really good there for us. And if you look at it, it's like I tell the guys all the time, guys, for us to be successful on defense, we got to do three things. We got to get off blocks, we got to run to the football, and we got to tackle well. And those four guys that I just named do a really good job of that right there. And that's one of the reasons that we've been successful in the games that we've won. And even in the games that we haven't won, those guys have still gotten the job done as far as those three things go.
Absolutely. It's one of those things, week in and week out, no matter who we bring in here, win or lose, it just seems like the attitude of this team, they're always positive, always got a good head on their shoulders no matter what the result is. They never seem to get too high or too low. It seems like a very even keel group. And I guess that's kind of the mentality you have to have. I don't know, for Chase, you got to, especially as a linebacker, man, you got to have that attacking mentality. He seems like a guy, I don't want to embarrass him too much or pump him up too much, but definitely seems like this group as a linebacking core particularly, as well as the whole defense, kind of has that attitude of attack.
I think that's fair to say. Again, they're great young men and the type of kids that you want your son to be one day. But when they're out there on the field, they get after it, and it's not you can be a nice guy and a tough football player. Like, you're able to do both, and they all do that, and they emulate what we're looking for from that position as far as carry yourself with high character and everything, but still get after it. have some nastiness about you, and they do.
Right, there we go. Speaking of nasty, Andrew Burrell, ladies and gentlemen. No. Nasty football player, man, indeed. He's a senior. Rover, as Coach talked about, also getting some touches on offense, too. And, Andrew, talk a little bit. I mean, big win, obviously, region win against Ridgeland on Saturday. I know that was different playing on a Saturday. Now you turn around, hopefully play a traditional Friday game against Heritage. But talk about this team and how you guys have come along, because, I mean, I know, obviously, non-region schedule, playing through that first half of the season, getting you guys kind of to this point. What are some things that you guys have been working on? Because it does seem like you guys have progressively gotten better throughout the season, which is what you want. So what have you guys been working on to get to that point?
Well, ever since the COVID break, I feel like it's really helped us offensively and defensively, because we got to watch film over our regular games and also our practice films, and it helps us understand schemes and our jobs on offense and defense.
Absolutely. Chase, same question. I mean, how's that transition been for you guys, particularly on the defensive side of the ball where you thrive? What are some things that you guys have been working on, and how's that transition been through the season?
Well, like a difference from this year from last year is we've really been harping on being like discipline in our tackling and our pursuit to the football.
Yeah. I like you, man. You got the bonds of the bandana, man. I mean, is you trying to make a statement tonight or what? You ready? You ready for it?
Ready, yeah.
What about, obviously, early in the practice week as far as Heritage goes, but I know you have another region game, and I know it's a situation where you can't take anybody for granted, can't look past anybody, but what is the attitude for you guys going out this week against Heritage, and what are you guys going to have to do to pick up another region win?
I think we got to stay disciplined and stay hungry just from week to week to make it to the playoffs. Just treat everybody the same, same mentality that they all get a piece.
There you go. All right. Andrew, how about you? What do you got to do well this week?
We just got to build off our win last week and continue to grow confidence and get better every day.
And also what Coach said too, right? Got to get off blocks, got to tackle, right? What was that third one?
Run to the football.
There we go. All right. I was hoping they would. So they were nodding the whole time you were saying that, so I think they've heard that before.
They've heard it a time.
They've heard it a time or two. So, but anyway, we do appreciate you guys being here. Great job as always, and it should be a lot of fun on Friday night. Coach, getting back to it a little bit. Obviously, it's one game at a time, as we know. We don't take anything for granted. I know you guys don't, especially. But it had to feel good for you guys to be able to go out there on Saturday, play a football game here at Dragon Stadium. Like I said, hopefully we'll have another one on Friday night. What do you look for? I mean, you talked about Heritage a little bit early in the segment, and good quarterback and everything. But as far as it always seems like this game is one of those that goes back and forth. They've always been a tough opponent, whether you've played them there, whether you've played them here. So what are these guys going to have to do well on both sides of the ball? Particularly on, we've heard a lot from defense, but offensively, what's the game plan going in?
Well, as we have to do each week, we have to have good fundamentals and play, our type of football. Again, we're going to have kids step up and into positions that, and kind of take over. We're going to have kids playing in positions that maybe they hadn't played in the past,
right.
and just that next guy up mentality, that we've done all year. Offensive line has continued to gel, but we've also played a different offensive line in every game this year, and we'll have some of that same stuff going on this game as well. And these kids just got to step up, and they have done it. And I expect them to do it again.
Right.
I think if we do that, we'll put ourselves in a position to be successful.
Absolutely. Region right now, you look at it, Cedartown 3-0 in the region. We know how well the Dragons played them, right there very much in that ball game. Of course, Pickens and Central share a 1-1 region record. Northwest Whitfield 6-2 overall, but just 1-2 in the region. Ridgeland Heritage also there as well. So right now, when you look at this region, it's a very tight race as far as the top four. I know you guys don't worry a thing about this. It's things for folks like me and fans to look at. But right now, currently, sitting in a playoff spot, I know there's still a lot of football, hopefully left to be played, but you got to feel pretty good about, this team and where you guys are at in the region so far, especially if you can get that win on Friday night this week.
Yeah, for us, it's hard to talk about anything but Heritage right now. That's what we did. Last week I was asked questions from people about, Heritage or on down the line, Northwest. And our main focus this week is Heritage and getting better. getting ourselves better and staying healthy.
Absolutely, yeah. Don't be doing that now. We go one game at a time, right? It's 1-0 every week. So again, got to make sure that that's where the focus is. I know it will be for this Dragon team on Friday, as again Heritage is on deck, and it should be a lot of fun. Guys, you guys are veterans, as we talked about. Not a big senior group like we've talked about over the weeks here on the show. A lot of younger guys that you guys have had to kind of step up and mentor a little bit, like Coach Meyer said as well. So how is that process now? When we talked to you guys earlier in the season, we kind of talked about that. So let's get your assessment now as a couple of senior leaders on this team through, how many games are we through? 7-8 ball games right now. Where do you feel like that progression has gotten to? Do you feel like you guys continue to make ground with some of the younger players?
Yeah, some of them are really starting to step up and start to look like Friday night players. They're really moving on from that JV or even freshman standpoint.
Right. It's definitely a different mentality. Playing from a Thursday afternoon to a Friday night when the lights kick on, the reality sets in as well. Andrew, talk about, your game. And I know we've talked a lot about defense and everything. But as far as offense goes, I know that you've made the most of your touches. We obviously Jared Whitmore. We know how big Jared's been. He's catches the ball well out of the backfield and everything. But you've been a guy for the last several years that we've talked about. Just a knack for big plays. Both sides of the ball, you've come up with some crucial plays and some pivotal moments of ball games. Talk about being in the right place at the right time, and putting yourself in a position, I guess, to be in the right place. Is that part of your game? Is just make sure you're lined up right, being where you need to be, because you always seem to be around the ball. That's the thing I notice about you. Is that part of your game, and what do you do to put yourself in that position?
I just trust the coaches and be confident in my abilities.
Yeah. And you got a lot of ability, man. What are your guys' future plans? Obviously it's your senior year. This may or may not be the last time we talk to you. I don't know. But what beyond this year, man? Any thoughts of playing ball or anything? Are you is that a secret at this point? We don't want people to know that yet, I guess, right? So I think you guys have. You guys have played well. You've had a good high school career. I know these coaches think highly of you, and I know the folks watching you guys on Friday nights do as well. So, again, we appreciate you guys being with us. Good luck on Friday night. Go out there and get a W. Would you? You going to do that for us?
Yes, sir.
All right, there we go. I like to have that mentality. Guys, thanks for being with us. Once again, Chase Nelson at the end of the table, Andrew Burrell as well, a pair of seniors who have been mainstays on the show for a couple years now. We appreciate you guys as always. Coach Grant Myers, as always, man, you brought the energy, and as always, we appreciate you being with us. Good luck on Friday night.
Thank you, sir.
Get after them. And Coach Jeff Nelson, as always, head coach, join us. Thanks for getting these guys together, and we'll pull off another show, and hopefully we'll get to do it a couple more times as well here. So, and I'm not going to jinx this anymore.
Okay.
I promise, I'm not going to jinx this. So hopefully we will see you guys next week. But Coach, thanks for being with us. Seriously, good luck on Friday night. We'll be rooting for you.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I want to say hi to, again, all of our guests, all of our sponsors. We thank you guys for being with us. Emily Nicholson has been our director and producer as well off camera, doing a great job tonight. Thank you, Emily, for being with us. Once again, I want to thank all of our sponsors. Want to remind folks, like us up on Facebook. Also follow us on Twitter at Team FYN Sports for Friday night scores and updates and highlights, as well as we keep you in tune on what's going on in North Georgia football. And, of course, this show right here can be seen each and every time on FYNTV.com, live and also on demand under the Team FYN Sports tab. Thank you for being with us. We will see you hopefully next week. This has been the Pickens Power Half Hour Dragon Talk right here on FYNTV.com.